Welcome to Terra Talks, where we talk about all things real estate. In each episode, we'll tackle current trends and topics of interest, both locally and regionally. However or wherever you decide to tune in, you're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome to another episode of Terra Talks. Today, we have the IT guys from Terra Caribbean. My name is Andra, Group IT Manager.
Jamal, System Administrator.
Kirk, Software Developer.
Right. And the topic for you today is we'll be discussing the impact of technology on the real estate industry. Let's start with just tech on the whole. So tech has revolutionized the way we have done business and operated for years and decades to pass. So I'm going to kick it off with one of the buzzwords that we have nowadays, which is AI. And AI has essentially changed the way people look at things in general. AI in real estate has sort of shifted the decision-making and the thought or the thought process from the user over to the technology.
The advantage of AI, as I see it, is that it could help streamline decision-making and help personalize the sales process to your clients as a broker or the agent.
Typically in the past, if I go back to some of my personal experiences in terms of looking for property and trying to find my first home, from my experience, I would have looked through the newspaper, made some calls to some real estate agencies, going through the whole process of having that conversation and trying to find things on my own. Nowadays, with technology, now that we have everything online, we have the websites, we have social media, people can go on those platforms, take a look at the different properties that they're interested, see pictures, see videos, take a look at tours of the property without having to be physically there. And then that informs their decision making. With AI though, what I find is interesting is that you can almost have like a natural conversation, and then you have that conversation with that tool or that system, and it gives you back the results based on the criteria that you just outlined. So I find that that's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on that, Jamal?
Yeah, I believe it's very interesting the way how we just shifted from, like you said, you calling somebody to the fact that you can actually know, just use this data to actually see what a house could look like based on those requirements that you have. And yeah, it's kind of mind blowing, to be honest.
Why I find it also exciting is that you said you can have a conversation instead of having to, go to drop down boxes, so to speak, and select, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and your criteria. You could just have a normal English language conversation, and that will
and
be
everything
query
gets
for you,
returned,
so to speak.
Yeah, okay.
So it makes it a more natural process than.
Okay. So what I find interesting is that a lot of people have focused on the chat GPT aspect of it, where it's a case where you can query this tool that can give you back answers. But there are other aspects within the AI field where you can make a request in terms of saying, well, give me house plans for a 2-story, 5-bedroom villa with a pool. And instead of you having to go to an architect as your starting point, you can ask that question and get back some draft plans just to get an idea of some of the things that get a visual for some of the things that you're interested in. And to me, that's where AI really helps to accelerate things. And like I started off by saying, with tech, it helps to accelerate the whole process. So with these tools, then it helps you to get further along in the decision-making process than you would typically. So one of the things that's very exciting to me from my personal experience is things like smart homes, being able to automate certain processes and systems within your home, which in essence saves you time. So we're not talking about things like washing machines and dryers, which were a big deal back in the day, but some of the other those most people are very familiar with the Alexa devices, the Google Home devices, the Apple HomePod devices, the Ring doorbell. So you have a very easy way or low barrier of entry in terms of getting involved in setting up your own security system at home, setting up your own cameras, getting alerts and notifications from those systems in terms of what's happening. You can go as far as having those smart lights, which you can set them to come on at particular times during the day. You can get fancy. You can say, well, I want to set my lights to come on at red at a certain time and they want to set the mood, those type of things like that. You can also go a step further and say, well, I want some robot vacuum cleaners in my home so that I don't have to have an individual come in as often and they can do certain things for me, those type of things. But that's just some of the ideas or some of the thoughts that have crossed my mind. Anything that you guys can add to that area as it relates to smart homes?
Obviously, we're in that age of technology now where people are actually looking for homes already that either is outfitted with this technology or have the provisioning for this technology. So then, as it relates to, let me say we go back to Terra, where on our website we may have things like near the beach or West Coast and that sort of stuff. You could now incorporate the technology and say internet connected home, and that could be a feature that people will look for and like try to, I guess, purchase a home that already has that information. I mean that technology in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you also think that that's something that our agents or our team can assist you and guide you with their years of experience and expertise working with various clients. Let's take a slight shift for a second and take a look at the way how the whole process of finding real estate or finding listings that you're interested in has changed from print, where back in my day used to do a lot of searching in the newspaper looking for things that were for sale, or if you had or you would just call a real estate agency and ask a couple of questions. They'll put you through to the agent that's available, that's on call, and they would start you off from there. But how has that shifted over the years from your guys' experience in terms of how people start the process, some of the tools that people use, that you hear people discussing how they go about starting the process?
Well, I mean, for me personally, as somebody that was, I guess, looking like very recent, obviously there are lots of websites over there, the same Terra Caribbean website. You go on, you just check, you put in your requirements, you look for the property, you get about a bunch of properties, you could set your price range, etc., and see what you want. And then you could reach out to an agent. You don't even need to call them anymore. You can reach out to somebody via WhatsApp, send an email, and that sort of stuff. So I guess from you looking in the back of your newspaper to know where you may just need to call somebody and say, okay, yeah, I ready to come and see this property, rather than, I guess, trying to find the property that you want to see if this property got get, if this property in a good neighborhood, that sort of stuff.
In my case, it was about 6 years ago, the development that I live in, I didn't actually interact with an agent directly because it was a development. They had their own sales team and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So it was a little straightforward. They had their own website.
One of the other key areas that's really exciting to me is things like virtual tours and augmented reality, where instead of having a video where the video forces you to walk through the property at the pace of the video itself, you can do a virtual tour where you can say, okay, well, I'm interested in this room. I can stand up in this room. I can look around, see what's on the left, on the right. You can move over to the next room. And in some cases, you can even step outside and see what outside will look like. And it's something that works in some cases, especially if you have people who are in a completely different country who are interested in the property and they're interested in investment. So before they take the step to actually take the flight to the country, they can essentially come up with a short list or even say, well, this is for sure the one that I want. Let me at least book that flight if I feel so inclined to then go and just see this property. So like I said before, the technology has really cut down the time it takes for decision making from a long period of time to a short period of time, because you have access to so much information and so much details up front. Outside of virtual tours, and I know there's one that's a step just past that. What are your thoughts on things like augmented reality and how that works? So,
With the augmented reality, that's exciting because unlike with the video where you could see what's actually there, usually, if it's staged, well, it will have furniture and whatnot in it. If it's not staged, it will be empty. You can then take some of your own furniture and appliances and insert them into what's there to see how what you have will look in that room. So that helps sell the property even more. So that's something that I think is really exciting coming up in the future.
Any other thoughts or ideas on how tech has influenced the real estate industry?
I think we touched on it briefly, but the biggest one, the most visible one, is the online property listings.
Yeah.
Where, as you say, you could sit at home, right, curious about buying a piece of land or a house, just, want to see what's out there. May not be ready now. So you could just go on to terra.com, fill out a certain criteria, want a piece of land in Christchurch or St. Peter or whatever. May even put in the size of the plot or the amount of bedrooms, whatever, and see what comes up. And you could go from there. That, to me, is one of the largest single
That's one of the biggest shifts.
in the process of real estate, the online property listings. As you said before, you had to call an agent.
Or looking in newspaper.
Or looking in newspaper or the magazines, and those have long lead times. So by the time you call,
Probably
listing may
be
be
gone.
gone or sold. So real-time, up-to-date data in the online property listings, to me, was one of the largest single jumps because of technology. I just want to share a quote that I saw with you guys. The use of technology in the real estate industry is constantly evolving. As new technologies emerge, the industry will need to adapt in order to stay ahead of the curve. This is an exciting time for the real estate industry, and it will be interesting to see how technology continues to shape the way we buy, sell, rent, and invest in property.
Yeah, that's a really good quote, Kirk. With the team at Terra Caribbean, we have embraced that evolution throughout our years. So when we started out, it was just Bill Malalou and his Red Book, where he had all his contacts and all the properties that he had for sale. It's then evolved where we had a real estate database where we then put all that stuff essentially on the computer, where it was easier to access, search, and retrieve information. As that continued to evolve, we had a website which then leveraged that database, which then allowed us to then share those listings with clients online, and they can see real time what's available, what's under offer, what has been sold, what's for rent, those type of things. That continues to evolve now as technology continues to change, where we have all these different AI tools, where you can further query that data and make informed decisions. And that's the goal of Terra Caribbean, to make sure that our clients are able to make informed decisions and that they're comfortable and confident to make those decisions based on the information that we've shared with them. And let's not underestimate the importance of the agents in this entire process, because the reality of it is the agents are the ones that are knowledgeable. They know the market. They know way more than any single search engine, any single piece of technology can give you. The agent really helps to bring it all together so that then you can make the best decision based on your specific and unique needs.
That's been another episode of Terra Talks. Thank you for joining us.